I'm tracking our flooding and damaging wind risks on this WRAL Weather Alert Day.
And the WRAL Storm Tracker is live with the biggest trouble spots and backups on the roads as these storms barrel through.
A 40-year-old man charged with soliciting sex with a 13-year-old on the internet stood in front of a judge today. The details of the case are shocking.
Then, state elections leaders subpoenaed after denying Cornel West's Justice for All party on the ballot this fall. WRAL examines if this was process or politics. Right now at 7, storms are ramping back up. We begin with a live look at the radar that you can see here. Most of our area is under a level 1 risk for storms, and that threat continues through late tonight. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ashley Rowe.
And I'm Dan Haggerty. It's a WRAL Weather Alert Day as we take a live look. This is over Wake County. Look at this image here. The clouds up above. This is all rain that's pouring down right around the Garner area. We have live team coverage for you tonight, keeping an eye on the conditions. We want to begin, though, with meteorologist Kat Campbell in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Kat.
Dan, this is that shower you could see on the tall tower camera right there. There's a little bit of lightning and then just some lighter rain off to the west that's moving through South Raleigh right now. And we are tracking some storms in Harnett County. Those are some of the strongest storms at this hour. These are moving toward Anger and eventually could make their way into Clayton. Those are the main areas of concern at this point. Elsewhere, a few spotty showers. But later on tonight, we may actually see some additional showers and storms develop that carry into the overnight hours. So check this out. Future counts 9 o'clock. We could see some storms in our western counties. As we get toward midnight, storms continue on the radar, and we've been telling you about this all afternoon. Models are really holding the rain and storms together even overnight, and the primary concern would be some heavy rain, but the severe weather threat should subside by the overnight hours. 3 a.m. still some rain and storms, rumbles of thunder likely overnight in our eastern counties, and some of that light rain could continue into the early morning hours tomorrow, and then we should get a little bit of a break after that. The primary thought behind issuing today's WRAL Weather Alert Day is this medium flood risk that we have. The past couple of times that we've seen this, we have seen flash flood warnings issued and even water rescues. We've got this concern in the coming days, so we'll consider some additional weather alert days. Brian Schrader is in the WRAL Live Center with a closer look at the impacts on the roads. Brian.
Kat, thankfully, driving conditions have improved across Wake County as we take a look at those live cameras from the WRAL Live Center. Going to head out to Garner for a live look at I-40 at White Oak Road. Everything looking pretty dry right now, but there is a shower heading in that direction. Also over in Cary at I-40 at Carytown Boulevard, you can see some wet roads out there. Of course, if you get under one of those cells, you can really find yourself in a downpour, and the driving conditions can deteriorate very rapidly. Want to head out to the Cary area and check in with Aaron Thomas, who's in the WRAL Storm Tracker right now. Where exactly are you, Aaron?
Yeah, Brian, we actually just took the exit off of the Beltline onto Western Boulevard on Raleigh. We're in a bit of a lull right now, but I can tell you, since we've been on the WRAL Storm Tracker since 4 this afternoon, we have seen our fair share of storms all across Wake County. In fact, we captured this video over on in the New Hill area over on US 1. This was right during the heavy evening commute time. We also saw at least 2 lightning strikes. Now, we saw similar conditions over on Interstate 40 near the town of Garner. There, the conditions were so bad you had drivers dealing with the low visibility due to the heavy, fast-moving rainfall. You can see right now on our windshield, there's light raindrops. It's a bit cloudy, but again, there's a lull right now. You want to stay with us on our late news beginning at 10 on Fox 50 as we expect some of these pop-up showers and storms as they have the potential to linger into the evening. Aaron Thomas, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
The city of Raleigh will install a gate now at the entrance to Raleigh Beach on the Neuse River after reports of another drowning today. Right now, search and rescue teams are still out there on the water near the Neuse River Greenway Trail looking for the man who disappeared under the water earlier today. The Wake County Sheriff's Office responded to that call around 11:30 this morning. A view from Sky 5 shows search boats there in the water and a tent set up on a nearby bridge. A witness said a man was in that water, went under, but never resurfaced.
A 14-year-old boy is in the hospital after being shot at a home in Clayton. WRAL spoke to the teenager's uncle, who says his nephew was playing video games when the shooting happened. Clayton police say it happened at a duplex on Pond Street around 3 a.m.
He told his father that some guy ran in the house, and when he was trying to run, he got shot from the back. It went into his back and out his chest.
police say 28-year-old Andrea Bailey was also injured in the shooting. She was shot in the hip. Clayton police say the shooting was not random. So far, they have not made any arrests.
A Cumberland County man charged with soliciting sex with a 13-year-old stood in front of a judge today. WRAL's Gilbert Bays talked to the district attorney, who says it was an alert from the child's parents who led to this arrest.
Well, this is a story that we've done in the past. A child under the age of 13 being solicited for sex by an adult. Fortunately, the parent of this child caught it before anything happened. 40-year-old Timothy II seemed shocked when Cumberland County District Court Judge Cole Jordan read off the list of charges against him: human trafficking a child victim, solicit prostitution of a minor, and solicit a child by computer. I watched II's face as he stood in his orange jumpsuit. It seemed he couldn't believe he was being charged with human trafficking, even though he never met the teenager in person.
You have a predator here that's preying on somebody that is younger and is going to meet them, and the allegation would be to transport them for an improper purpose.
Details revealed in court are disturbing. Investigators say II used Instagram to pose as a teenager to solicit the 13-year-old. He wanted to meet and pay for sex. The child's parents found out and contacted the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office. We're told investigators continued the conversation and set up the meeting. When he arrived, II was arrested. West says a handgun was found in his car.
He also did not appear to have any type of money or anything to exchange in exchange for the sexual favor. So those two things were very concerning, particularly the weapon.
2 of the 6 human trafficking cases filed in the state last year involving children were here in Cumberland County.
What the important takeaway is, this parent was involved with their child, watching their social media accounts, having open discussions with their children. And parents need to be involved with their children's social media accounts and monitoring them.
II was given a $300,000 secured bond. He'll be back in court on August 13th. In Cumberland County, Gilbert Bays, WRAL News.
And the judge says if II makes bond, he will be on house arrest with a satellite monitor and not allowed to be on the internet.
Vice President Kamala Harris hit the campaign trail today for the first time as the presumed presidential nominee. Harris was rallying in battleground Wisconsin as she picks up endorsements, delegates, and donations. Today, she earned the backing of top Democrats in Congress. As Harris garners support, today I spoke with the chair of the North Carolina Democratic Party, 26-year-old Anderson Clayton. I asked her what she's hearing from young voters, especially on hot-button issues. Do young voters care about her record on immigration?
I think that young voters see the potential of a president that has always been able to actually get done. And I think that right now, on immigration, when you look at how Republicans in Congress have treated that issue, they've treated it as a political issue, and they've withheld the opportunity for Democrats and for Joe Biden, honestly, to make progress on that in Congress right now. And so, no, I think
we are going to learn more about what young voters are talking about on both sides of the aisle. On Thursday, you'll hear more from Clayton. And I'm introducing you to a 19-year-old Republican voter who has been called the best political strategist in the county where he lives. Governor Roy Cooper, a top contender to join the Harris ticket, is staying tight-lipped about the possibility of becoming her running mate. That was the focus of questions following an event in Winston-Salem this morning related to medical debt. Cooper was asked about the reports that he is among a small group being vetted by the campaign. Here's what he said about that.
I'm not going to talk about that. I really want her to, I want to respect her process, give her the space to pick the best person, and I'm just not going to comment on her process.
Other names being considered are Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, Arizona Senator Mark Kelly, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, and Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Biden is back in Washington tonight after testing negative for COVID. Tomorrow, the president will address the nation for the first time since dropping out of the presidential race. You can watch President Biden's address at 8 p.m. right here on WRAL.
Tomorrow, former President Trump will make a stop in North Carolina for the first time since surviving an assassination attempt. He will be in Charlotte for a campaign rally at Bojangles Coliseum. WRAL's Eric Miller will be there for us and have live coverage from Charlotte starting tomorrow at noon. You can count on WRAL to bring you updates on air on WRAL.com and on the WRAL app. Meantime, state elections leaders were on the hot seat today at the legislature. State lawmakers subpoenaed them to explain their decision not to allow Cornel West's Justice for All party on the ballot this fall. WRAL's Capitol Bureau Chief Laura Leslie explains how it all unfolded.
Was it process or was it really politics? That was the question that GOP lawmakers had today for state elections leaders. Some have accused the state elections board of playing politics to block third-party candidates who might take votes away from Democrats. 3 parties requested ballot access this fall: the Constitution Party, Robert Kennedy's We the People Party, and Cornel West's Justice for All Party. Each group had to submit petitions with nearly 14,000 signatures. The state elections board said yes to the first 2 parties, but no to Cornel West Group. Republican lawmakers accused Democrats on the board of blocking West because he might take away some Democratic votes.
You are very much aware of who stands to gain and who stands to lose.
But Elections Board Chair Alan Hirsch said it was because of an ongoing criminal investigation into the signatures on the Justice for All party petition.
It is our obligation to decide these issues based on the law. And I understand the political currents here. I'm not naive to that. However, this decision was based entirely on the facts as I've just described them.
Representative Alan Chesser was not persuaded by that.
I think this entire process is somewhat jaded and unduly influenced. I think everyone on this board would agree that we want a fair and evenly applied process moving forward, and we've got to figure out how to get there.
Republicans also asked why the petition process for all 3 parties took so long. State Elections Director Karen Brinson Bell said it's because they're understaffed and GOP lawmakers have refused to give them the funding they need.
But as you and I have discussed, I asked for a data analyst in the short session and I did not receive it, and we are limited in what we can do.
That was not my question. Okay, we don't need I don't need any further pleas for assistance.
Laura Leslie, WRAL News, Raleigh.
The city of Raleigh is getting taller and taller. Just ahead, the new 37-story development in Glenwood South. We'll tell you what it's for. And we are minutes away from kickoff. Manchester City versus Celtic FC. Join the fans flocking to Chapel Hill next. New at 7, a win for North Carolina environmental groups fighting to warn you about chemicals in your drinking water. WRAL has told you how Chemours, a subsidiary of DuPont, has manufactured forever chemicals at their plant in Fayetteville for years. The EPA issued a health advisory about the risks of exposure to the forever chemical called Gen X in drinking water. Chemours argued that advisory was unlawful. Well, today, a court disagreed with that and ruled the EPA did not have to change the advisory. You can watch our full WRAL documentary on this issue, Forever Chemicals, North Carolina's Toxic Tap Water, on WRAL.com.
Covering Wake County now, you're taking a live look at the downtown Raleigh skyline, obviously, but things are going to start to look and feel a bit different down on Glenwood South. That neighborhood is set to get a new building added to it, and it's going to be one of the tallest in the city. This new development will have 37 stories filled with apartments. PNC building has 32 stories, though it will be slightly taller, the PNC building, because it holds office space as well.
There's something really fun happening over in Chapel Hill. The FC Series returns to Chapel Hill, bringing 2 historic clubs that are used to winning with it. WRAL sports reporter Luis Fernandez is in Chapel Hill right now, where we are minutes away from kickoff between Manchester City and Celtic FC. What's the vibe like out there?
To be honest, Ashley, humid, a lot more humid than I think you're probably going to get in the UK where these 2 teams reside. But a couple of things with this, you're making fans you see here making their way into Keenan Memorial Stadium over here on my left shoulder for this international friendly, the history, the championships. It's obviously what is selling tickets for this event. You look at Celtic FC, they are the Scottish Premiership champion, and Man City is the Premier League champion as well. But there's a lot of passion from these fans. We were at a Celtic FC fan fest earlier today. The MC shouts out, "Who came the furthest to watch this club?" And you're hearing screams of Australia, Canada, Scotland. of course, and Man City. Haaland's jersey is on just about every kid under the age of 12. He's one of, if not the best players in the world, and he's playing tonight in Chapel Hill. I spoke with Murray MacArthur. He's a 19-year-old from Columbia, South Carolina, that has a long family history of rooting for Celtic FC.
I mean, like, it's always been a part of my family. Like, I was just born into a Celtic family. Like, we had like little baby Celtic kids, and then like it's just, you know, just kind of been on like that, watching the games every day.
And I spoke to the Chapel Hill Orange County Visitors Bureau earlier today. They estimated the economic impact for this match to be about $10 million. But at the risk of sounding like an absolute cornball, I think it's going to be priceless for the fans that are in attendance. It's Hey Jude, one of Man City's song, playing in the background here as we get ready for this kickoff at 7:30.
That's a great jam to get people into the spirit, get their head in the right space. I like that a lot.
I'm glad the umbrellas are going away as well. There was a little bit of rain falling during some of Lewis's earlier live shots. Meteorologist Kat Campbell joining us now to give us an update on where the weather stands.
And you know, the weather is improving out there. I think we're going to see a couple hours of a lull before we see more storms move in later tonight. You can still see the back edge of this shower and storm that's moving out of Garner into the northeastern part of Wake County, right on the county line between Wake County and Johnston County. Let's talk about rainfall. Yesterday, we had 2.2 inches of rain at RDU. Friday and Saturday, an inch. So we have had over 3 inches of rain in the past 5 days. So far today, just a trace at RDU. But this has been significant rain in such a short period of time. And that is why we have this flood risk that's going to stick with us tomorrow as well as Thursday. So we are going to consider some WRAL weather alert days in the coming days due to that flooding threat. And we've seen that materialize some over the past week. Looking at the radar right now, quite a bit of lightning tracking toward Clayton in Johnston County. So a heads up there if you're in Clayton, you need to seek shelter. Some gusty winds, heavy rain along with that storm. And we've got a storm in northern Harnett County right now and northern Cumberland County near Fort Liberty. We have more rain off to the west, and this line could try to develop and push in once we get toward and after midnight tonight. So just a heads up there, but quite a bit of lightning kind of ramping up over the past 15 to 20 minutes right on that Wake Johnston County line area. It's a 60% chance of rain and storms through 3 a.m. Early tomorrow morning, our eastern counties could even see a few showers that linger for the morning commute. At this point, it looks like all that would be east of the triangle. Our unsettled weather continues. You can see a lot less thunderstorm activity north of this boundary, a lot more to the south, and we're stuck in this jet stream pattern for a bit longer. There are signs of change on the horizon, though. A small chance for rain tomorrow morning, and then scattered thunderstorms develop during the afternoon and evening. This front's going to be right overhead on Thursday. We expect to see overcast skies, high rain chances at 70%. And notice this is 10 a.m. It's not just afternoon and evening storms Thursday. It's not going to rain nonstop all day long, but there will be a chance of rain and storms at any point during the day Thursday. Once we get to Friday, notice how this front starts to make a little bit of progress. The highest concentration of storms may end up being in our southeastern cities, and then the front just keeps slipping to the south just in time for the weekend. That means we are drier for the weekend on the drier side of the front, and also a little bit less humid. It's not going to feel like fall or anything like that, but it may be feeling pretty good for the weekend. Your outdoor plans look like they're in pretty good shape. Highs are in the upper 80s. We removed rain chances on Saturday. It's a 60% chance of rain tomorrow, 70% chance Thursday. By Friday, that chance down to 40%, but the 90s are coming right back.
Okay. Thank you, Kat. Stargazers in parts of the country can catch a show tonight.
The states where the northern lights will be visible coming up. And as we go to break, let's take a live look outside. Yep, that's a camera. You can see some cars just kind of going into the mist there. This is how hard it is raining at US 64 and 264. We'll continue to track this weather for you as it moves in through the night. Stay with us. We're back after this. It is almost here. We are just over 2 days away from the Summer Games in Paris.
I get so caught up with that music. I just get so excited. We are learning some big stars will be making appearances in addition to the Olympic athletes. Let's talk about my favorite, singer Celine Dion making her comeback in Paris. This will be the French-Canadian legend's first time back on stage since ending her tour in 2022.
You were getting musical just talking about it. I can feel it coming out of you.
She's the best.
So she was diagnosed with stiff person syndrome. This is a rare neurological condition. It causes painful and severe muscle spasms. And she stayed out of the spotlight for a while. If you're thinking I haven't seen her, it's because she's been focusing on her health. Friday's big show features Celine Dion along with 3,500 other fellow performers for the first Olympic opening ceremony to take place outside of a stadium. But I think Paris seems like they got this thing figured out.
They've been working so hard on it. Yep, they've even had people swimming. The mayor was swimming in the Seine. Yeah.
It's going to be exciting. And how about this guy? He's involved. Snoop Dogg is going to carry out the Olympic torch on Friday as it makes its final rounds before the Paris Games and the opening ceremony.
He's so cool. He'll carry it through the northern Paris suburb that is home to the Olympic Stadium and the Aquatic Center. Snoop will also serve as commentator during NBC's primetime coverage. He's just
one of the most interesting resumes ever.
Yeah,
I mean,
no
a guy
kidding.
who's done everything.
Exactly. WRAL, your home for the Summer Olympics.
We will have live coverage starting on Friday, running all the way through August 11th. Look for live reports from Paris throughout the competition at 6 a.m., 6 p.m., and 11 p.m.
Some unlikely parts of the U.S. could catch a glimpse of the northern lights overnight.
So this is for people in the northern states in the upper Midwest, so including Wisconsin, Montana, Maine, maybe even some parts of New York. Also known as the Aurora Borealis, usually only visible in Alaska and Canada and Scandinavia, but geomagnetic storms can make them visible a little further south. The best time to see them around 4 a.m., so set your alarm clocks.
Set your alarm clocks. Celine Dion is back, baby. Thank you for making WRAL your choice for local news.
Have a great night.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air channel 34 and Spectrum channel 1257.